Yo, what up, Knicks Nation? Let's get to it. We finally got a solid win. All right, you already know what it is. New York Knicks came into this one after a letdown game against the Minnesota Timberwolves on Friday, and they needed to do a little bit of soul searching because in that matchup, they didn't show a lot of defense, they didn't see a lot of heart, and they just allowed things to slip away against the Timberwolves coming into today's game at 3 p.m. facing the Atlanta Hawks at home. You thought this game with what happened Friday night that they were going to turn it around. And in the first quarter, it did not look like that at all. It looked like Atlanta was about to rip the hearts from New Yorkers once again. But second quarter comes around, Mikal Bridges starts getting to his bag, starts making Trae Young looking like a little too little, man, a little too little. And the New York Knicks started to get some life. That's what you wanted to see. But then at the end of that half, what happened, man? They let go of the rope. They let go of the rope, but not, fear not. Fear not. Why? Because we got the one, the only, Jalen Brunson, who decided to put his team on his back in the third quarter with some help from Mikal Bridges and the rest of the squad as he decided to lock up Trae Young, all right, and Jalen Johnson and the rest of that Hawks team and put them away with a solid win tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, with a solid win, the New York Knicks would defeat the Atlanta Hawks 119-110. Finally, we got a solid win. We might even call this a statement win, all right? Because the Atlanta Hawks were beating all the top teams out here. We might call this a statement win tonight just because they've beaten the Celtics, the Knicks, and the Cavs. I think I'm feeling a statement win tonight for this team, man. You already know what it is. Make sure to hit up the Discord if you want to get your thoughts in today, all right? Make sure to download the app. Do whatever you got to do. Go on the web browser, whatever fits your fancy. Make sure to tap in so I can hear your calls. We're going to have Jeff Johnson coming through later. We're working things out on that end. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. Yeah, CP was at this game today, man. CP was at this game. He was out there with his son. First game with his son. He gets to see a win. A fantastic win. You know what I mean? You get to make Trae Young look like an idiot. Who didn't enjoy Trae Young trying to foul hunt in the fourth quarter, and especially the one on Karl-Anthony Towns? Cat stays on his feet, stands tall. They don't even call that one, and then it's just a turnover. Oh, man, that made me feel great. Made me feel great. Made me feel happy, man, because I just don't want to see Trae Young coming through rolling dice, acting like he's big, making it like he's somebody's age. He's not, man. They always like to make this man like a Nick Killer. He has a losing record against us. What is he, like 7-15 now? We don't need none of that. None of that. But, yo, this game tonight, or this afternoon, whatever you want to call it, it was a solid win. Let's talk about the defense first, because this was by far the best defensive effort from this team this season. Hands down, no question about it. The Atlanta Hawks, who has taken the New York Knicks to task the prior two matchups, we already know what the issues are. Youth, athleticism, can shoot. This team fits all three, and they can defend at a high level. Knicks counteracted that with playing some tough defense against Trae Young. Jalen Johnson having a quiet night from how he's performed prior to us and prior matchups to us. So defensively, I thought this game was fantastic. I mean, OG looked spry from the beginning. You know, he's been looking a little slow out there. You had Mikal Bridges showing some solid defense against Trae Young. You know, JD and I were talking about how Bridges going against some smaller players, you know, it doesn't seem like he's capable at times of keeping up with them with their quickness. Tonight, he said, nah, I don't want to be hearing none of that, because he went out there and was legitimately shadowing Trae Young and causing him fits. And so, talk about Wingstop showing up tonight. And then just the rest of the defense, too. I mean, you got a block from Karl-Anthony Towns. Brunson, obviously, not going to be the greatest defender, but always giving you effort. Josh Hart doing his damn thing, causing havoc, you know, causing turnovers, getting out in transition, just knowing how to be a pest. That's what you want to see. And this team, man, I thought this team did a great job defensively today, and especially Mikal Bridges, because we already know that Bridges has been just on notice. He's on notice because we traded for him. We gave up as many picks as you want to talk about, and he's just been in and out. November wasn't great. December was good. Start of January, up and down. Tonight's against, Trae Young and the Hawks, who've been doing a good job this season. I thought he did a solid job on Trae Young. Like I said, he was mirroring him, causing him problems using his wingspan. I thought he was making the reads properly, fighting over screens very well. He really made sure that he stuck with his defensive assignment. I mean, even the first possession, not even necessarily the first possession, but in the first quarter, you saw Trae Young trying to, use his handles, just trying to get by, and Bridges was just denying that. I thought Mikal did a solid job of just locking up. And then conversely, let's talk about Bridges just taking advantage of Trae Young, making him look, small, tiny, pipsqueak. That's what I'm talking about. Because look, this guy, I just love it, man. I just love when we finally do something that we haven't been able to do against this guy. It's like, for some strange reason, this team, when we have weak defenders, whether it be Trae Young or Tyrese Halliburton, we never go against them. We never try to expose them. Today we exposed them. And Mikal Bridges going against Mikal Bridges today. This was his box. This was his box score. All right. 12 of 17 from the field. Talk about efficiency. 1 of 2 from downtown. You got your 4 assists, 26 points. 26 points. All right. 12 of 17. He took advantage of Trae Young today, and I loved every second of it. He shot right over him. He got past him, mid-range, baseline jump. It doesn't matter what it was. He was getting to all of his spots, and that's what they were doing. They were hunting Trae Young every single time. That's what you want to see when you have a weak defender. Expose him. Expose him. Show him how he's a turnstile on that side of the basketball, okay? And I don't want to hear that he's been trying all this. I don't want to hear none of that about what Trae Young's been doing. Mikal Bridges took it to task, and that's what I wanted to see. And he did that. He did exactly that. And that's how you want to attack moving forward, right? You want to find your weakest defender and utilize that. This Knicks team has that capability at all 5 positions to take advantage against anybody that they go up against. And it shouldn't be forced. We shouldn't have to see JB or Cat trying to force their way through offensively just to get their points, just to keep this team afloat. This team should be looking for the mismatches as they did today and taking advantage of it. All right. So I thought Mikal Bridges had a solid game doing just that. And whether it was just getting him on screens, whether it was just like anything you want to talk about, how the offense was just taking its time to set it up to look for Trae. How about getting Bridges the ball in the post against Trae Young? That is the stuff that you need to see from this team more often. Loved every second of it. Loved every second of it. And if we're going to talk about offense, still, we also got to talk about JB. Because Dyson Daniels, we already know Dyson Daniels is a problem when it comes to guarding Jalen Brunson those last 2 matchups. And today, not so much. And I thought, one, there's a little bit that played into Brunson's favor. Brunson, played his game. I thought he was more comfortable against Dyson Daniels today, not getting flustered by the wingspan that the Atlanta Hawks can pose. But the other thing is that Dyson Daniels was in foul trouble. And I thought that the team did a good job in recognizing that he was in foul trouble and trying to make sure that he was just constantly in a situation where he could not foul and be as aggressive defender as he possibly could. And so because of that, you were able to see JB and the rest of the team, whenever they were going up against Daniels, they just were able to take advantage because, all right, do you want to foul out, man? Like that's the thought that they have to go with because that is their best perimeter defender. They don't have Risha on the team tonight. He's out injured. And so instead of having the multiple lanky wing defenders that they're capable of having, you now have to rely on Daniels. And he got frustrated today, man. Boy, this guy was getting frustrated just because JB was taking him to task. But then to be in foul trouble too. I mean, I'm pretty sure this guy had 4 fouls before going into the half. And 4 fouls going to the half for your best perimeter defender. If you're the Atlanta Hawks, that's not where you want to be. Especially when you got Jalen Brunson on the other side. So I thought Brunson did a solid job at that as well. Where he was just taking advantage of what the defense and the situations that everyone was in. And the other thing I want to talk about was the bench scoring. The bench scoring was actually good, man. We actually got some good bench production today. And on top of that, they came in early. It looks like Tom Thibodeau was taking the words of Knicks Nation and saying, you know what? Instead of waiting to the end of the first quarter, getting my guys all tired and then relying on the first couple of minutes or the last few minutes of the first, most of the second quarter, let's bring these guys in early. And now I thought that was the biggest change up for this team whatsoever. one of the liked that Tibbs one kept the scorer out there and then went to his bench early, man. I thought that also made I also believe that helped this team keep the juice in the fourth quarter in order to close this game out. And so you bring Campaign in early. He didn't have that same dropping 16 in like what, however many minutes, 13 minutes or something like that. But what he did do was he came out there, gave you good minutes, and he was able to work with Deuce very well too. So I did like the bench minutes from all these guys tonight. Most hey, I wish these guys got a the Hawks were keeping this thing in the balance. You weren't able to get like too much of a rest for these guys. I see that the lag. I see that there's a lag. I see there was a lag a little bit. Someone told me to get out the McDonald's Wi-Fi. Shout out to you, KFTV Jalen. Boost mobile plan. Good Lord, good sir. Boost mobile. No, thank you. Where you at though? But no, I thought the bench minutes were solid tonight. I actually did like what they were offering. And this is what you want to see moving forward, and especially against a young team. So hopefully Tibbs continues to roll this out, and we get to see this Knicks team utilize their bench earlier, in the games rather than later, because we already know what it is. Sometimes Tibbs waits until the beginning of the second to really play the entire unit, and then it gets too much of a short amount of time for those guys to really get out there and make something of themselves. Like 4 minutes in the first 4 minutes of the second quarter is not what you need. So the fact that they had from 6 minutes and then he started to trickle them in and started to, stagger them out, that's good stuff by Tom Thibodeau. I liked all those things in tonight's game, man. I thought there was a lot of good stuff in tonight's games. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. I'm going to start taking some of your calls soon. I do want to hear what you guys got to think about this game. There's a lot of positives in this one. I liked a lot about it, especially like I said, against the young Hawks team that has given the Knicks problems, that has beaten the top teams in the East. I think this is a statement win, guys. I truly think this is a statement win because how tough the Hawks play, and they fit that mold that has given the Knicks problems. Young, athletic, can play defense, and they could shoot. The Knicks were able to go out there and accomplish something which the other top teams haven't been able to do. So got to give them kudos for that. All right, guys. Salute to Knicks Nation. Thank you all for tuning in for the KFTV post-game live. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. We got my guy Jeff Johnson on the way. Don't worry. But I'm going to get to some of your calls, man. I'm going to get to some of your calls early. I want to hear what you guys think about this game. There's a lot about this game, man. There's a lot about this game. So I'm going to start loading up the Discord. Make sure to hit up the Discord. I want to hear your thoughts. All right. Sayquizzy, if you hear me right now, unmute your mic, man. What's going on?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Sayquizzy, what's going on, man? How you feeling about this game?
Beautiful game. Good way to bounce back. Like the defense today, was more physical. Like you've seen, like they didn't want to lose this game.
No, they didn't.
Fans would have been going crazy if we'd lost this one, but the defense was good. OG and Cat didn't really have a good game scoring wise, but 9 rebounds from OG, I like to see, and then the 7 assists from Cat. Like they wasn't scoring, but they was doing other things to impact the game. I like to see that. And then Bridges attacking Trae Young. I thank God they gave him the ball this time. They did that with OKC where they had him in the post attacking SGA. This time they did with Trae Young. So I like to see that. And then another thing I like to see is the hairy lollipop Trae Young. Non-turnovers. I wanted him to get 10. So you have his double-double. I wanted him to get a 10 so bad.
Oh man, the hairy lollipop is wild.
But
Man, you saw that man got some hair transplants though. We all see that, right? Because that thing is all filled in now. We all see that man went to some specialist this offseason, man. It looks pretty clean now. It looks pretty
yeah,
clean.
here the Knicks fans talking too much.
That's a
But
fact.
the bench came out good in the second. I think it was second or first. I don't know. I don't remember it again, but I think we was like down by 8. It's probably the first quarter, but they
Mhm.
gave us a little spark coming back. And then Brunson, Dice McDaniel's been like clamping him up. Brunson said, "Not today. Not today. You're not getting me today." But good win. Hopefully, we could keep rolling with this with the defense and getting like Bridges involved. But that's all I really got to say today.
Shout out to you, Sayquizzy. Shout out to you. Appreciate you calling in as always. Oh, and one thing I like what Sayquizzy said is that look, Cat. I thought this was a real. This is stuff that we've always asked about players, even guys like Randall when they were on this team. He talked about Cat with the 7 assists tonight, 9 boards, 7 assists, 13 points, went 5 of 18 from the field. You could see that the thumb was bothering him. He went 1 of 6 from downtown. That is unlike Cat. You could see that the thumb was bothering him. But what did he do? He's like, let me adjust my game. Let me not force the issue too much. And he started just being a facilitator, working the high post, working from the top of the key, looking for guys cutting. How about finding Brunson on that backdoor cut, man, for that easy lay-in? It's stuff like that when you look at this team, that's what I'm saying, that they don't have to guys don't have to force the issue. We have too much talent offensively going out there getting 7 assists tonight and just keeping everybody involved, even though he wasn't shooting the ball well, but still using his gravity to make sure that he can attract the double teams. That's recognition. That's understanding, yo, other guys are cooking. I don't need to do that much. Let me just keep them involved. Let me just think of something else. Let's get to our next caller, man. Let's go to OS Jedi. OS Jedi, if you can hear me, unmute your mic. What's going on?
Hey, Alex, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Good. Yeah, man. I can hear you. What'd you think about tonight's game?
Great game. I have a bunch of points to make. I made notes throughout the game. But first, I want to say I called on Friday and I was a little out of it, and I want to apologize. So,
Oh, good, man. Hey, man, look, we're Knicks fans. We get emotional. Look, man, it's an 82 game season. We all go through this emotional roller coaster ride, man. It's all good. No need to apologize.
so first, I want to start with the new rotation. Around like 4 to 5 minutes in the first quarter, they came into the game, complete different game. In my notes, I noticed I didn't put these two things together. The offense and the defense started firing on all pistons late first, early second, which really kind of took our team to the next level. Second, I hope Knicks Nation has a lot of positive calls today because they got everything they wanted when it came to minutes and bench rotation. So I'm hoping for a lot of like, yeah, we had a good game, but this is enjoying the bench right now. Um, Threes being decently defended. There's only one problem. The first I had, it was 6:55 in the first quarter. Hart goes to help Brunson. Confused. Defender goes to 3-point line. Easy 3-pointer. Things like that we really need to work on is help defense. Yeah, we can do help defense, but at the same time, you need to know when we're doing it and when we're not because there is some confusion there. I want to thank you for your call. Have an amazing day. Okay.
You too, OS Jedi. I appreciate you calling in. My man coming through with the notes, making sure that he knows what he wants to talk about. And for everybody out there, I see that you're saying that the stream is a little laggy. As my guy, Big Daddy G says in the chat, shout out to you, bro. Close YouTube, open it back up. The lag will be gone. It'll be all good. And if you're watching from the beginning of the show, that all gets worked out too. So just make sure to close it, open right back up, and you'll see that the lag is gone. Then it's all working. Yo, we got 1,000. We got 1,100 of you in the chat. Shout out to all 1,100 of you. Shout out to Knicks Nation. Shout out to the franchise channel members in here as well. I see Rick Pennington in here. I see John Talento in here. I see all the regulars. I see Courtney J. Shout out to you. Who else we got here? Jordan Sherrod, shout out to you as well. CP's in the chat. What up, CP? Hope you enjoyed watching the game in person. I'm watching. Shout out to you too. Nostalgic Nick's in here too. Father Peace, King Matthews. Shout out to all of you. I see my guy JJ and Wise Guy in here. Shout out to all you guys. Shout out to all you guys. Yeah, look. The rotation's big. I think changing it up, like, this is, it's not going to be a massive change. It's not like 2 years ago where it's like pulling Evan Fournier for Quentin Grimes. I don't think we're going to see anything of that magnitude come through. The thing that we're still waiting for is obviously Mitchell Robinson to get back. Then once you talk about Mitch getting back, then we have a legitimate eight-man rotation between Mitch, Precious, and McBride. All right. And Cam, if you want to include for 9. So that's the only thing that's going to see. That's the only going to be the major change moving forward. But I did like, as OS Jedi said, as I also noted earlier, that look, bring these guys in a little bit earlier. Let these guys, set the tone a little bit, change it up, get a different pace in there, and get these guys refreshed. Maybe even taking them out is like, sometimes they're a little foggy. They're like, hey, I don't really know what's going on. They're rushing a little bit. Take a breather for a second. Watch what's going on. Get a fresh set of eyes out there, and then get back in the game, and maybe you'll be ready to go next time. So I did like the bench coming in sooner. I think Tibbs needs to go with that more so, just because look, we're closing out January. It's still a bunch of tough matchups that are coming through. All right, we got the Nuggets in here. I know we got a supposedly easy game tomorrow against the Nets. You can't take anybody lightly on this schedule, as we see. But we got the Nets coming up. Then we got the Kings, who've been playing very well as of late after the firing of Mike Brown. We got Memphis next Monday. Then we got Denver to close out January. And then after that, you got the Lakers, the Rockets, and then we play Toronto. And then early in February, we get Boston, man. We get the first rematch with Boston from opening night. And hopefully the Knicks will be ready by then. And look, the thing that I liked what this team showed tonight is that they showed that they actually do take things personally. I love it. The chippiness, the edge. I loved everything about it. You saw everybody just doing the too small, whether it be the Knicks doing it to the Hawks doing it to the Knicks. Look, I loved everything about that. I love that these guys actually cared. That, as you heard, Breen, although I don't know why they discount Mitch. I get that Mitch didn't play in that first playoff series against the Hawks. He's still on the roster from when they played. But this is essentially a brand new team going against the Hawks. They don't have any connection with that team that took the Knicks out during that playoff series. But still, the fact that this team is now starting to understand what we hate about the Hawks team, what we dislike about Trae Young. I did like that they brought that energy today, and you saw whether it be JB calling out, 6 fouls to Dyson Daniels. See, like I said, you see the too small. You see Bridges and Trae chirping the entire matchup. I love it, man. That's that energy that you need. You got to go out there with some pride, man. You guys have been up and down this entire January. You have yet to beat a really good team. Like I said, I will consider this a statement win against the Hawks because they've been playing very good basketball and been beating the top teams. But, we need a solid win. We need a solid win that we can hang our hats on. And so tonight, they absolutely earned that. Let's keep that ball rolling, man. So when they face Boston in a few weeks, I want to see them remember what they did to them week 1, opening night, man. They got embarrassed. I want to see them go out there and compete. I need to see all that, all right? I need to see all that. We got Chuck D in the chat. Salute Chuck D. Throw a hashtag PE. Come on, guys. Throw a hashtag PE for the rhyme animal himself. All right, let's get some more calls on here, man. I want to hear what you guys got to say. We got... we got the official Michael White. The official Michael White's here. What's going on, Michael White? What's going on? How are you feeling today? How do you feel about this win?
Hey, I feel good.
There we go.
MLK Day.
Mhm.
Took the day off. Didn't work. Well, I love the win. I love the bench. I told you they could play. They just needed a chance. Now, I really think that somebody must be putting pressure on Tibbs to do that. I mean, he went out of his way, and I felt really good about everything but OG. I didn't like the minutes that OG had. He had 41 minutes. He has to play tomorrow, so maybe he'll get a break tomorrow. But I think they look good. This is what I think they should be, and this reassures me that we have a chance because I proclaimed it that we're going to win the title this year.
Ooh. Proclaiming that we're going to win the title series. So you liked everything but OG playing a lot of minutes. Is it the defensive intensity that you saw today, Michael White, that impressed you, that really is giving you this confidence about
They had the energy. They had the energy, and I think the 2 days off helped.
Sure.
And I think that somebody's patting Mr. Thibodeau and on the shoulder and saying, "Hey, dude, come on, man. These guys." Because sometimes I watch those games, they didn't have it, man. They didn't have the legs. That's why their shots weren't falling. And I think we'll get better.
Absolutely. I think they'll get better too. I mean, it just takes time. It's January. I like the adversity that the team is going through right now. You need to you need some adversity, man, in order to get better. You can't just have it easy, right? No, having an
Right.
easy path is never a good thing. Appreciate the
And
call.
tell CP,
Oh no,
tell CP, I told you so.
Well, CP's in the chat, so he said you called in. He's shocked that you called in. He's throwing side eye emojis. He's saying I was. He said it was you, Michael White. Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you
I
go.
put a super chat in there to tell him that. Now I'm coming to New York before the end of the season, so when I come there, we're gonna talk.
All right, there we go. So CP and Michael White definitely going to be gonna have a meetup, and Michael White's going to tell
drink
CP what
some
he needs
beer,
to- there you go. Drink a beer, to chop it up a little bit. Nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with that.
You invited too, Alex.
Oh, I appreciate it. I'll be there too. I definitely want to meet you, Michael White. I love to meet everybody. I love to meet everybody from Knicks Nation. Appreciate the call, Michael White. Appreciate the call. Have a good one, my guy. Oh man. CP, you're in the chat, man. He's looking for you. He said he told you so, CP. He said he told you so. Man. But Michael White is right. They did look fresh today. I mean, I hope off of 2 days of rest. I would hope off the 2 days of rest they had enough legs to come out here today. All right. Get a little bit of practice in, rest, go into the hyperbolic time chamber, get a little ready for this game. And I mean, if you had 2 days of rest and you were not ready to take down the team that had Trae Young rolling dice on your court, and in the last game that you said we just got to beat them, and you didn't beat them today, we got serious problems, man. We would have had serious. I think DEFCON 5 would have been hit today if they lost this one. Seriously, absolutely. CP still throwing side eye emojis in the chat. Whew, man. This would have been something else, man. Telling you right now. Let's give a shout out to a sponsor, man. Let's talk about Manscaped, all right? Manscaped has laced the entire team up, and they got a whole bunch of equipment. Let me just pull out some of the stuff right over here, all right? Give me 1 second. All right, look. They got a bunch of equipment. They got a bunch of equipment right now for all of us, all right? So you got the handyman, all right? You got the handyman if you want that close shave, After you just use a razor, you say, "Hey, let me make it a little sparkly clean." You want to see that glisten. You got the handyman right here. We got the Chairman Pro. There's a Chairman Pro. We've gotten laced with all these things, man. You got the Lawnmower 5.0 too. All right, all those products are great to help you keep you correct, keep you lined up correct, so that way when you're out there on your dates, man, you want to look fresh, you want to look clean. You don't want to be looking crazy down there. All right, you don't want necessarily. Look, maybe some of you want the Van Gundy. Maybe some of you want the Thibodeau. Hey, maybe some of you want to rock. Actually, I won't go there. I won't go there. I will not go there. But anyway, make sure to go check out our guys over at Manscaped. All right. Use that promo code KFTV to get up to 20% off and free shipping. All right. They'll help keep you guys ready and correct. And look, they just don't only have these mechanical goods. They also got ball deodorant. They got shampoo. They got conditioner. They got a bunch of different products for you just to keep you smelling clean, keep you looking right. All right. So that way, whether you're going out on a date, whether you're going out with the missus, whoever it may be. All right. I don't know what you guys do, but hey, if you want to feel correct, you want to feel good, you want to feel sparkling clean, make sure to go over to Manscaped, use that promo code KFTV to get 20% off and free shipping. So, all right. Had to do a little Manscaped read, all right? Hey. I'm not reading any of the jingles today because some of those jingles are just wild flagrant, but they are great. I highly recommend using Manscaped, all right? It is approved. All right, let's get to some more callers, man. Let's get to STG Nick. STG Nick, I know you were in the building, man. I know you were ready. Let's hear what the stadium status is all about.
Yo, what's up, Alex? That was a great win. I saw you in the building. Pregame, you were down by the tunnel with G Money. I saw you down there. Rocking
Mm.
was that Patrick Ewing had the old school jersey. It looked nice. But overall, I thought it was a good win. My biggest thing after last game was how bad we've kind of looked in that second half and fourth quarter. Like last game, after the stats updated, 23rd in net rating in the fourth quarter. I thought today was definitely a better showing there in the fourth. We were only up by 195-94 before we pulled away down the stretch. It was good to see because we had that game against Minnesota. We had the game against Detroit as well. So I thought the late game execution today was a lot better. And Miguel came out there. The whole team, honestly, in that second half, early second half, set the tone because we were down by 8, and then they quickly, like, basically almost took the lead before Atlanta called timeout. But yeah, I mean, vibes were good. A lot of family show Trae Young chants in there. That was always good to see. I mean, I definitely thought
I'm
also
not
that.
shocked.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I also thought another thing was like Brunson and Daniels, they were definitely going at it all night. They were chirping a little bit back and forth. Daniels picked up a few quick fouls early on. And then after Brunson got the sixth one, he was waving by. He said he's got 6, and then he got fouled out. But overall, a good win. One of the better ones recently that we've had in a little bit. There's a chance that we see them in the playoffs, and I think it'd be a fun 7-game series for sure. So who knows? So on to tomorrow, and hopefully we can win 2 in a row. And because we lately it's been like win loss, win loss, win loss. Hopefully we can string another one together, rest up, and get ready for Saturday.
You want, hold on, boy, you ain't walking away that. So you want to see Knicks Hawks first round as a matchup? Is that what you're telling me right now?
Not necessarily I want it, but I think it would be a fun matchup. Like the games this year we've played so far, I think they've been, relatively fun. I don't think they're what I want to play them, not necessarily. I think they're a difficult matchup, especially
Hmm.
I think we would win it, but it definitely would not be probably go 6 games. Definitely would not be an easy first round matchup. But as it is right now, I think it's like a 3-6. So who knows? I mean, like it's still very early, but definitely wouldn't want to face them, but there's a chance we could face them. And also we do play them, I believe, 2 more times. So if we want to worry about the season series with them, but they lead us right now 2-1. So yeah.
Okay, so you just think it's gonna be a fun matchup, fun playoff series matchup. All right.
I mean, I think so. Like earlier today, like they were chirping, going back and forth. Like I want that in the playoffs. I thought like last year's Sixers series was great. There was a lot of
Yeah,
back
for
and
sure.
forth, and even that Hawk series 3 years ago. I know we lost in 5, but I thought it was physical, a lot of chirping, going back and forth. I like that.
Yeah, I like that aspect of any playoff series. I just want to see what people is that. Let's get this poll. Let me get this in the chat. Chat. Would you want to see the Hawks in the first round, and would you want that series? It'd be definitely way different from what it was years ago. And I would take the Knicks obviously winning that one. It would definitely be a close series. But I still think the Knicks are doing it in 5 or 6. But that would definitely be an interesting series nonetheless. I'll tell you this. It'll definitely be what the media, ESPN, and everybody else wants. They would be, salivating at the mouth. They'd be like, "Oh, it's Reggie Miller over again." But shout out to STG Nick. Thank you for calling in as always, my guy. Appreciate the call. Oh yeah, there is no way that ESPN wouldn't love a matchup like that. What are they saying? People are saying, nah, no thanks, no. Oh, some of you saying yes, we'll take it. Some are saying yes. Some are saying hell no. Yo, this is hilarious. Oh man. Hey, I get it though. This is the true gauge of the fan base right now. Would you want to see the Atlanta Hawks in the first round? Some of you saying nah, some of you saying yes. Some Corey Mitchell saying not scared of anyone. That's the attitude you got to have. You can't be scared of anybody. All right, you know what I mean. You either believe in this team or you don't. That's the bottom line. You either believe in this team or you don't. And I believe in this team to go against the Atlanta Hawks, but it would definitely be a close one. It'll definitely be tough. We can't shy away from anybody, man. We can't be doing this. Come on, we're the New York Knicks. We're New York tough. Can't be shying away from nobody. Gotta be ready for anybody that comes through. Shout out to Chuck D, by the way. Shout out to Chuck D for throwing a super chat. He said New York Knicks showed will, grit, toughness, conditioning. Also, when teams go 4-0 on challenges, does this mean the refs are 0-4 on the night? Maybe this should be a stat. refs would have rankings we can view. Hey, shout out to Chuck D. That is a good point. How about that? Both the Hawks and the Knicks go 2 for 2 on challenging calls. That is a great point, Chuck. They both go 2 for 2, meaning the refs got them wrong 4 times. And that is, I mean, this game, you want to talk about this officiating. This officiating was horrid, especially in the first half. What was a foul? I had no idea what they were doing at any point throughout this game. It made absolutely no sense to me, especially when you start seeing like, it was just too ticky-tacky. Way too ticky-tacky for my liking. I need to see this is where I just can't understand how you have officiating in this. Like, it's so lopsided, so uneven, makes absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense. And when I saw Deuce get the foul in the second quarter, I was like, are we being serious, man? That was like so light. It was like breathing on anybody. I'm like, who are we reffing here? LeBron James? This is not LeBron James where you just breathe on the guy. They're like, oh, foul. It was getting obnoxious to that point. But yo, we got my guy Jeff J in the building. Let Daniel set up his camera real quick. All right, Daniel setting up his camera, but I'm gonna, Jeff, how you feeling, man? How you doing today, bro? What's going on?
Yo, man, I'm doing well. Technical difficulties work hard, but KnicksFanTV works harder. So we back in the building and talking because I needed to get on. I would have flew to Massachusetts and been in there with you. And we'd have to set up the 2 mic setup from one location and set up a studio in your crib so that we were able to talk about this game, man. But I'm happy to be on with you. Happy to be tapped in with the Knicks Fan TV community. And yeah, man, ready to talk about this game.
Let's do it, man. So I already given my takes about this team, man. I'm going to ask you, what do you think about the defense in this game, man? Was it the best you ever seen this season, or what was your thoughts on the defense? Because I think that was the biggest thing that stood out tonight.
Yeah, man. This is what I'll say. And shout out to my brother Sean with a W. After that game, the dice roll game in the quarterfinals of the NBA Cup, we were saying a couple of things. One, they gotta feel this team. Defense is about effort. They need to feel, they need to be uncomfortable. They need to make the Hawks comfortable with being uncomfortable, especially in the Garden. And I thought this was the game where I asked them to show me who they are. I need this Knicks team to show up every single game. No days off. No days off. This mentality, this team, this game, these moments, this is the team that Knicks fans want to see. They want them to have that edge. Like Breen called them feisty. Mike Breen called them feisty. I thought they were like ready to fight, like that type of pugnacious tenacity. You know what I mean? Like the type where they took it personal. They took it as personal as all of us took it personal. I know there was a whole conversation about what they should do because, we got a lot of people out here who act like doing something gotta equate to fighting or doing whatever. But if they wanted to talk that talk on the court, they did it. If this was your way to handle it, and it's beautiful that we're doing this on MLK Day. Shout out to Martin Luther King Jr. Shout out to everybody. His 100%. Message resonates now more than ever. And salute to that, brother. Salute to everything. I know I wouldn't be here in this current capacity without the sacrifices that he made. But it's good that it's ironic and it's probably fitting that the Knicks chose the path of nonviolence today. And they kept the violence on the court in the way that they played. I get it. Maybe I was more Malcolm X with it. I get it. Y'all handled your business on the court. You showed that you took it personal, especially in the second matchup. There was no room for error, no room for excuses. You got the job done. And that defensive effort, Mikal Bridges, both sides of the ball. The best point of attack defense I think we've seen him play all season. Like you could say he locked Trae Young up. You can say it, and you can say it in earnest. He locked Trae Young up. And this is the type of defense that Knicks fans have been waiting to see from Bridges in particular, right? When you're going to be facing these type of point guards and these athletic guards, you need him to be him. And he was him today.
Absolutely. And look, you go get this game. Trae Young didn't shoot particularly well. He went 8 of 22. He still got his 27 points, right? He knocked down a lot of threes, 6 of 12, went 50%, got to the free throw line. But you just want to see a guy give resistance, right? And that's the thing. He gave some resistance. Someone said this to me in the comment section after the last game where I was like, yo, he didn't do it like Bridges didn't do anything to Ant-Man. Ant-Man was like just chilling. Like Ant-Man just pulled up to a lounge. He's like, yo, let me just chill. Let me cool back. Let me pop a few drinks.
Hookah coming out in 5 minutes.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that man was chilling. He was doing whatever he wanted to do. And people were like, yo, Alex, you expect Bridges to stop Ant-Man? I'm like, no, I don't expect him to stop him. I expect him to make him uncomfortable, man. Make him work for every single shot. That's all that matters. And that's what Bridges did tonight. And I agree 100%. This was his best point of attack defense that we've seen this entire season. Just got to keep it up, man. And the one point that I made throughout the show earlier is that this is the type of aggression I want to see from the Knicks. Like they took this matchup personally. You know what I mean? And whether it be from like Trae Young rolling dice on the court, whether it be from like other matchups, and it's just like the festering of like maybe hearing the fan base and be like hearing that, they be too soft or the people are missing last year's team, and that it's like, can this team actually come out with an edge? It's like they played with an edge tonight. I said I like the chippiness. I like the chatter between Trae and Bridges Bridges obviously followed it up by just shooting an efficient game. 12 of 17 gets you 26 points tonight. I mean, you can't get any more efficient than that, right? So the stuff like that, man, where I want to see this team play with that type of like tenacity. Just go out there and everyone's going to come at you because you are the Knicks. You have been hyped up to be like one of the best teams. So you're going to have an X on your back. So you got to come out there being the aggressor and just being the punisher and saying, I don't care who you are. I got beef that you're already in here thinking that you're going to take me down. I'm going to show you what we're all about. I just need that type of energy like they showed tonight on a consistent basis. But how about Brunson, man? Brunson, seeming like Dyson Daniels, not a problem. Just being able to be like, wingspan, not an issue for me anymore.
Listen, that new contract, I know they said he took a pay cut, but he bought some great land property in Dyson Daniels' head today. It may be somewhere right on the Great Barrier Reef. Maybe it's in Perth. Maybe it's in Sydney. Sydney's beautiful. I don't know. Australia be having those double XL animals and whatnot. The spiders that be the size of like a 65-inch big screen TV on your wall. But I've heard the cities are beautiful. So he had that dude second guessing, third guessing everything. And I love the third quarter where Bridges set it off and Brunson went into closer mode. I loved how he stepped up. And this was another thing where you wear that C on your chest. You're the captain of this team. The team is supposed to go as you go. He made it a point to go out there and handle business. Had one of the best games of his season. They did the talking with their game. They brought their game and not their name. And I have to respect it. And it's something that you said earlier, Alex, about work, making them work. One thing that my dude Sean had said, he hates the fact that since we've had this newer team, 2022, 23, 23, 24, the sins of the old Hawks series, that 2021 Hawks series, where Trae Young was able to hide on Reggie Bullock, that whole series, and be fresh pretty much to go into kill mode was over. Because now the Knicks had squads where you could not hide Trae Young. But it's ineffective if you don't make him work. And I think Bridges, especially Bridges, was the one who took this personally and attacked him and abused him and wiped the floor with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude really went in there and made it a point that he was going to expose Trae Young and take advantage of that matchup. You saw Deuce doing it. You saw Brunson attempting to do it. Anytime Trae Young switched off or they ran action for Trae to get Trae into the action to the point where they were comfortable with Bridges post-ups over having Trae on the perimeter. And this is the type of strategy that you need against him. He's a light dude. He's somebody who can go off on offense at any moment. So yes, make him work on the other end. Get him into foul trouble. You saw what happened with Dyson Daniels. You got him into foul trouble. But with Trae, I believe part of that 8 for 22, I think that he shot, was excellent Bridges defense, but also the fact that he had to expend a lot of energy. He sat for a good portion of that fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Because that man was looking like me on the Stairmaster, bro. Like, you know what? After you go past 10 minutes, it's a lot of heavy breathing. It's a lot of heavy breathing, bro. Especially if you have it on the setting where you know you're gonna feel it. It's a lot of heavy breathing. He was out there working, and they overworked him. So shout out to Brunson once again. Shout out to Hart. Shout out to Bridges. Shout out to the whole squad. They handled business. They played with pride. This is the team that we need to see for the rest of the season. I don't care what else happens. You bring this effort every night, I won't be mad with the results.
1000%. You bring this effort every single night, we got no problems. And honestly, if it's not even no problems, it's like you'll be in most matchups if you do this. You won't see
like last year.
Exactly. You won't see these lopsided affairs that we've seen like against Dallas, like in the second matchup against OKC. Like all we want to see is that you can go out there, play some defense, and make smart basketball plays. And I think the other thing too is these guys weren't forcing you. We talked about how Bridges and Brunson were abusing the living daylights out of Trae Young, which love to see. Love it. But also, look, Cat didn't have it tonight, right? Cat only got you 13 points, wasn't knocking down the ball from distance, but what he did get was 7 assists and 9 boards. So he was doing other stuff and being impactful on another in a different way. And I thought the 7 assists really personified who he was tonight, saying, I'm not going to force the issue. Other guys are doing their jobs. Let me find my teammates and let me do what I can to help us stay in this game. And this team has the 5 stars, man. Anybody can go off. Even Josh Hart, man. I know Josh hasn't gotten a 40-point game yet. The day Josh Hart gets a 40-point game, this world might explode. All right, because I think Knicks Nation will not be able to handle that. And just from the sheer effort alone to get 40 points for Josh Hart, that man must have gone crazy to get to that number. But anywho, like the fact that like we have 5 guys in this starting rotation that can go off and be that offensive catalyst, like no one needs to force anything. And I think we saw some of that through January where it was just a little too much like Brunson trying to force the issue. We didn't give it to Cat too much. Maybe Bridges trying to force to get back into a rhythm. And like, I just liked how this game came with the flow and it was just back to normal Knicks basketball that we saw at the beginning of the season where it's just finding guys who are cutting, looking for the open man, nothing complicated, all simple stuff because regardless, whoever you have to guard on that lineup, they all could shoot. So just find the next open guy. Most likely it's going to go through the hoop.
New York Knicks 16-1 in games where they have 30+ assists.
Look at that.
They're moving the ball. When they're sharing the ball, and this is where they're at their peak with their offense. And the thing about Cat, 13 points. I know we'll get to the stats and whatnot, but 13, 9, and 7. He was a rebound and a couple assists away from a calm triple-double. Once again, you look up and you're like, oh, what is Cat doing? And he has one of those games where he's affecting all areas of the court. This dude had the highest plus minus of the starters, I believe. Yeah, he had he was plus 11. And one of the reasons why I think it was so critical to have Towns affecting the other areas of the game is that you started to see them use him as a hub. I've said it a bunch of times that I think the ideal spot for Cat is the Jokic role of where it's a centric offense utilizing all of his skills, passing, court vision, all of that, where they can get it to him in the post and let him decide where the ball is going to go. 9 times out of 10, he's going to make the right decision. And you've seen it before where he was able to find Brunson on that pass, the open pass, breakdown in the defense, swung it to McHale, got the hockey assist. There's ways in which he's able to affect the game to the highest level. It raises the Knicks ceiling even more when they're able to utilize him as a hub. And that just gives another option. I also like the fact that now this was the game of adjustments, Alex. This was the game of adjustments. First off, Brunson don't got to bring the ball up all the time. They're letting other people handle the rock and then get it back to him eventually. Second, 9 players subbed in the first quarter. The bench was used. The calls were heard and the bench was used and they were utilized. There was a change in the rotation. Folks started coming in to the game with 5 minutes to go. A couple of the starters, I think Hart and Brunson played the whole quarter, but everyone else was getting shuffled in and out. So there was a decent enough of run. And then when you look at the minutes and who played, like Shamit was out there working, but it just wasn't working. So that kind of affected the rotation too. Deuce had 4 fouls. You had 4 fouls. I had 3 fouls. Did you talk about that yet? Did you
I
talk
did,
about
bro.
that? Or are we gonna live in
Well,
this?
can we go right back to it because the officiating was awful.
Yo, when Mike Breed has to say on the call, I know I've been talking about this a bunch of times. Mike Breed, I've been talking about this a bunch of times, and then he brings up bad officiating. He is the shield. Like Mike Breed takes off his blazer, and you might see stripes under his button up. Like this dude is pro ref, and even he repeatedly said, yo, what's going on? There's no consistency. He'll point out the inconsistency because he knows the rule book. Like I said, he ride or die with the refs. Those are his guys, right? Like he respects officiating to the point where he gives them the benefit of the doubt. Even he's calling out the pathways, and if you're not blocking their pathways, then it's not a foul, and then and breaking down those things. If you needed any more evidence, 4 challenges. Coaches went 4 for 4 with successful challenges, and there still were other calls that got blown. I don't think I've seen that in a game ever, in an NBA game. I watch a lot of NBA. I haven't seen 4 for 4. Like both coaches pitch go perfect for challenges, so that they don't have any other challenges for the rest of the game, and we're leaving it into the hands of the refs. You got Campaign getting a technical foul for being Campaign. What are we doing here? We didn't come here to see y'all. We came here to see the players handle it. Even Trey Young's tech, I'm like, yo, everybody relax. This is a good game. Let them handle it. Let them handle it on the court. Like, everyone got to show some restraint. But you know that there's energy in this game. Let the game play out. And you look at the foul discrepancy, the free throw shooting discrepancy. I'm like, damn.
Awful.
Either the Hawks were Clyde Frazier disciples, and they were playing defense with their feet and not their hands, or boy, well, hold on. The browser is hiding the free throws from me. That's how crazy it was. The Knicks ended up shooting 21 free throws. Ended up because they got into foul trouble and they had to try to foul towards the end. But at one point, it was 17 shots to 4.
Yep. 17-4. First half. Insanity. And Chuck D threw a super chat in the chat pointing out this thing, and it's like, we need some ref stats, man. If you go 4 for 4 wrong in a game, you all need to NBA got to be doing some searching.
Refs need EPM. We need an EPM for the refs. How about that? Like, we need some advanced stats for the refs. Remember when the Knicks were handing out the sheets with the refs stats? We need to bring that back. Yo, bring it back. Because enough is enough. We need accountability. We need some oversight, bro. We need some oversight because it was ridiculous. Like when Cat got the tech, hand up, it was tech worthy. They shouldn't have called it then, but it was tech worthy. But at this point, it's like, Cat, do you have to hit him with like an ultra combo to get a foul? Like, do you have to like beat this man with a bat?
Bro,
like, what is a foul? Like, he's getting beat up the whole game. Bro, he ain't playing like Shaq.
Bro, what? This man
What's going on?
This man could get stabbed and be like, yo, and it'd be like, nah, you're all good.
Big fella, we can't call all the stabs. We gotta see blood.
That's
exactly all the time.
That's essentially what it's going to, man. And this is why, like, as much as I hate to see these guys complaining about the fouls every single night, like, I don't like that they complain too much because then it just distracts them from getting back on defense or doing anything. It's just like, I get it though, especially for Cat, because there are just fouls that he's not getting, but these refs were just atrocious, man. It's like sometimes, like I tweet that out where it's like, let these players play. We're here to watch them go, man. I want to see this game. I want to see the storyline. I want to see them get chippy. Like, what are we protecting at this point? Like, nobody's going to be swinging in this league. Give me a break. Nobody's swinging.
It wasn't even chippy, bro. Like, it was fake chippy. Like, they were talking, but it felt like a regular game. It didn't feel like animosity. Like, you could feel it bubbling, but it wasn't to the point where we got to handle it. Like, we got to legislate it within the game. Like, nah, they were just hoping, man. Come on.
And that's what I mean. And that's fine. Like, if you're just chatting, you're just chirping at one another, that's one thing. Like, if it's going to escalate to where you're starting to see, I don't know, start seeing, like, fists being thrown, that's another story. But we wouldn't get to that point, man. It wasn't like Serge Ibaka was throwing that Hail Mary that if it connected, man.
Oh, man.
I forget who that was, but he would have been out, like ice cold out. But hey, man, it is what it is, man. I just like, they got to do something just to get more consistency with the games. Like I think it was like even I forget which game it was. Like I'm always pleasantly surprised when I'm like, huh, this game has a really good flow to it. I'm like, there's not a lot of calls. It's like, oh wow,
Minnesota
like, there's no
game. The Minnesota game had a flow.
I didn't want to use that one because of how it ended. But yes, you are
Yeah,
correct.
you know what? And I get it, and I know everyone, a lot of people were tight after that game. But before the Hawks went off in the fourth, that game was lit, man. Like I was in the Garden for that game. It felt like you were watching Rucker hoops. When Campaign versus Dillingham, I wish they were playing one more time. I need to see. Like it got to the point where I was like, yo, Coach Finch, let Dillingham guard paid. You know he came to see this. He was putting Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I'm like, yo, come on, man. Don't lock him up. Like, you put your man on him and let them go one-on-one because at that point, anything was possible, right? But that's how they had an open field to it until the rope got let go. But that's the type of action that you want to see. Like, call the fouls when they fouls. If you're not calling fouls, just don't call them. Like, let's not pick and choose because, okay, you tell me Cat gets hit every play, you can't call it. I feel you, but you got to call some. You got to call some.
Yeah, and like what the fouls, what Capella was getting as a foul, I'm like, wait a minute. Cat's getting 10 times worse, bro. Like, for the love of God. Even when the one he tried to drive, and I'm like, it took that long to get the foul call. Like, that was insane.
And then Okongwu was like, what you mean?
Yeah, what you mean, man? What did I do? What did I do?
You hacked him, you punched him, you used roundhouse, strong, fierce. Like you were button mashing.
Might as well.
Come on, man. Enough is enough, bro. But I'm so happy they won. I'm so happy they won because this was like a pride game for me. This was like a game where what is your identity? I know y'all been asking it. We've been asking it. We talk about it, online, offline. We've been asking, what is this team's identity? Who are y'all? If this is y'all, I need y'all to be y'all the whole rest of the way. Like you see, Cat only got one voice now. Y'all don't got nothing else to say about that man. Cat only been using one voice the whole season. If Cat can only use one voice, y'all can pick one identity to use and to apply the whole season. There's no more excuses.
Oh, man. Salute to Knicks Nation. Thank you all for tuning for another KFTV post-game live. With me on the other side is my guy, Jeff Johnson, a.k.a. Jeff J. Says, make sure to hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Make sure to share these shows, man. If you haven't done so, tell a friend to tell a friend. That's how we keep growing. So make sure to do that. Shout out to all the franchise channel members in here. I see all of you coming through. We got 1,200 in the chat right now. Salute to all of you on MLK Day, man. 7:38 p.m. We got 1,200 of you with us. Appreciate all of you. Hey Jeff, let's get to a hold on. Well, 1 second. The Knicks Fix. I'm saving you for the call to be the closer. All right. So hang tight. Just letting you know. Hang tight, Knicks Fix. I'm saving you as the closer. So right now, let's go to key stats of the night. All right. So let's get to key stats tonight. Brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. All right. So we'll get at this game. Obviously, the New York Knicks won 119-110. Knicks, even though they won this game, they lost the rebounding battle 41-39. However, as you already pointed out, Jeff, they get 16 wins when they have 30 plus more assists. They got 31, beating the Atlanta Hawks to 23. Didn't beat the steal game. Hawks won 10-8. Didn't beat the block game either. Hawks had 6. They didn't win the turnover battle. Had 15 to the Hawks 23. 9 for Trae Young. I mean, so much for your point guard doing work out there. And here's where the Knicks really came through. They shot 52% from the field over the Hawks 47. They shot 35% from downtown while the Hawks shot 43. And from the free throw line, just barely lost this one to the Hawks 76% to 77. But this is where the Knicks decided to make up for that. They won the fast break battle. They got 18 points to the Hawks 13. And they also won points in the paint slightly, 58-52. They lost the second chance opportunity battle 13-11. But hey, Knicks getting out in transition, working their way in the paint. That's what you love to see, man. And especially shooting the ball just so effectively like this team can do. Loved everything about it. Out of all those stats, Jeff, or if there's something I didn't even talk about, is there anything that stood out to you tonight?
Two things. One, they won the points off turnovers battle by 10, 29-19. I think that's important because if they had 24 turnovers and you're scoring 29 points, that's over a point per turnover, right? So I think that was important to capitalize off of the turnovers that they created. The other thing, and this is what I said when they were down 8 at the half. The Knicks need to do what the Hawks did to them in the NBA Cup. Come out in the third quarter, punch them in the mouth, turn up the intensity, and snatch the game from them. In the third quarter of the Cup game, the Hawks won that quarter 34-18. The Knicks won this quarter 40-27 while they were down 8. So they were able to get all the way back and hold on to a 5-point lead going into the fourth quarter. And what's ill about that is, had they not had big dummy moments in the last minute, their closing quarters were horrible this game. And this is a trend. They need to be able to close the quarter. Don't let those teams get on the quick 6-0 run. Had they not allowed that run or at least tightened up a bit, they could have went into the fourth with an 8-point lead, a 9-point lead, and been even more comfortable. So that's just something to monitor throughout the year. But I think the fact that they were able to come out in the third quarter and assume control and really reverse what they did, what the Hawks did to them in the Garden the last time, I thought that was important. They won the second half scoring battle, 65-48, so 17 points. They were outscored by 8 in the first half. They outscored the Hawks by 17 in the second half. So this is encouraging for Knicks fans who see that these dudes have a problem with shutting the door. They be letting all the draft in. So they're too late sometimes shutting the door and you catch a cold. So they need to be able to shut those doors and actually close these games out. So this is really encouraging if you had doubts about whether or not this team can scrap for a win. Because it was tied up at one point. Hunter went on a 5-0 run. It was tied up. And they was able to make it happen. So I think that was something that was really important.
Absolutely. I like that point from you right there, Jeff. And yeah, they got to figure out a way to close out better moving forward. But they did it tonight, man. That's all that matters. And those are the key stats brought to you by our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. And guys, let me tell you about Underdog Fantasy. Support them, man. If you want to have fun when you're watching a game and you think you can make a little bit of money while you're watching any sport, you had NFL playoffs this past weekend. Man, Ravens, man. What's going on there? Whew. Mark Andrews. Man. We'll save that later. But good Lord, man. That is god awful. But anyway, look, if you're watching NFL, NBA, NHL, and whatever sport that you're watching and you think you could earn a little bit of money, go over to Underdog Fantasy, all right? You can make a sheet. All you got to do is choose 2 to 8 players, and it doesn't have to be from the same sport. It can be from any sport, and all you got to do is just choose higher or lower on any statistical category. So if it's the NBA, points, rebounds, assists, a combination of all 3, and that's all you got to do. Just choose higher or lower, and then you can earn some money. All you got to do when you're making the sheet is that you got to make sure you either win all of them. So if you choose 5, you either got to win all 5, or you can choose the insured route, which means you got to get 4 out of the 5 right, and you can still get some money. Okay, that's what you got to do. The other thing is you can also do drafts. Me and CP have been competing on some drafts. Jeff, we got to get you in a draft, man. We got to get you in one of these drafts.
I'm down.
All right, that way we can continue to take CP's lunch money because CP is just giving out like this man is just a charity. All right, he just likes to give out for everybody to get free meals, free drinks, whatever it may be. Look. Drafts are also fun. You can have up to as many. I think you can have up to like 6 or 8 friends in a draft, daily fantasy, and that's fun too. You can do it for any sport too. So make sure to support our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. Use that promo code KFTV to get up to $1,000 in instant bonus cash and a free pick. All right, let's get back into it. All right, let me shout out some super chats though, Jeff. Since we got some super chats here, shout out to Chuck D again. He threw out another $10 super chat. Shout out to you, Chuck. Throw another hashtag PE in the chat. He says Brunson's center of gravity is a vortex for defenders as the season wears on. Defending that herky-jerky style one-on-one is punishment by March. Brunson is Barry Sanders, a damn spinning fire hydrant. Yo, those are facts, man. I mean, Brunson, the way that he was cooking Daniels and whoever tonight, man. I mean, it seems like he's finally starting to get back into a rhythm because I I don't know, Jeff. Maybe you saw something different, but at the beginning of the season, it kind of seemed like there was only two gears: shooting threes or getting downhill. Like the footwork that we've been accustomed to. I wasn't really seeing much of that in the beginning of the season, like bowling your way in, posting somebody up from like the high post or just getting to your spots and then just doing the footwork, the up and unders, the constant pivots just to find your spots. I know that takes a lot of energy, so for him to do it throughout all 82 games, that's a lot of work, but didn't see a lot of it early on. Now we're starting to see that repertoire come out as the season wears on. I'm happy to see that guy back, man. Happy to see him back.
Me too. And I think the early season was probably more of a feeling out period. I think he was just filling it out and trying to get other people involved. And he might have been in his own head with his mini slump that he went through. But once he locked in, he was good to go. Once he locked in, he was good to go. And I will not downplay the effect of 2 days off too. I won't downplay that either. They got a little bit of rest. They had an extra spring in their step. They used 9 men in the rotation. Like you gotta look at all of those factors and plus the motivation. They could give us the milquetoast, by the book, Derek Jeter-esque commentary in the post game to tell us that it don't mean nothing and you're the greatest fan in the world. And you know what I'm saying? Like we gonna get up anyway. Like the most important thing we can do is win this game. We'll wait until the podcast for y'all to tell us how you really felt about this. You feel me? Like I know I'll get on the podcast and you're gonna say what y'all really feel, but I know this meant something. I know the losing meant something. I know that today y'all wanted to make a point. Y'all was tired of the chatter. You was tired of the subpar play, and y'all wanted to make a point. Point heard, but y'all gotta keep making points. Tomorrow in Brooklyn, that's another point. We not playing around. Y'all go worry about Cooper Flag. We worrying about the chip. That's how you handle business. And they need to continue to be in business.
That's a fact, man. Those are all facts. Shout out to another super chat from Tuto Azzurri from Italy with the $5 super chat. He said, much love and respect to Alex and all the diehard Knicks fans across the pond in America. Greetings from our entire Italian national rugby team in Italy. Shout out to you, man.
Oh,
as a former rugby player myself, I love and appreciate the sport. So shout out to you, man. Shout out to all the way from Italy. Shout out to you, Tuto. Shout out to you.
Oh, yeah, because it's like 1 o'clock over there now, I think, because it was an afternoon game. So they probably was able to catch it late night. Like whatever, it's not like super late. So this is the KFTV international section. You feel me?
Yeah, man. These 3 p.m. games, these matinee games work for them. So shout out to you, Tuto. Shout out to you for always supporting the channel. All right, man. Let's get to another call. Let's get to the Knicks Fix, man. Let's get to the Knicks Fix and hear what he has to say. Knicks Fix, you there, man? Unmute your mic. What's happening?
Alex, Jeff, what's going on, man?
Good, man. How you feeling today?
What's the news?
Oh man, my Siri went off. But anyway,
From CNN.
hold on, guys.
Siri's trying to get into this whole chat about the New York Knicks. All right, let me not get my Siri activated. Hold on 1 second.
Straight for you, whenever you like.
All right, guys, can you hear me? Sorry about that.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yes. Oh man, I was trying to be Mariana tonight as it closed, but obviously something I had to mess up with this technology, bro. Yeah, man. So after the last show I had with you guys, I called in. I guess my quote was featured everywhere on like YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Maybe, just maybe, man. I feel like that quote made it all the way to the front office or CAA. Cause I'm gonna say it, yo, Tibbs. Finally, for the first time, man, I'm gonna eat crow. He had the right substitution patterns tonight. He kept players fresh. We had the legs on defense, and what do you know? We were fresh in the third and fourth quarter, right? We went to somebody else other than Brunson to close out the game. It was all hands on deck, and I like the fact that Tibbs finally chose to punish Atlanta by force feeding that ball into whoever Trae Young was guarding, right? So the call to pulverize, Trae Young with McHale over and over to start the third quarter was exactly the kind of thing, like the in-game adjustments I've been beating the drum for all season. When I call you guys. I'll continue to keep eating the crow, man. If he keeps playing this bench, that's never happened. But like Jeff touched on, the team played with some energy, like with some pride for the first time. Brunson, he wasn't really pounding that rock. If you look what he did tonight, he was making moves, quick moves. So Daniels, like, he couldn't get set. He looked like he had more energy with like 2 days off of rest. Crazy footwork, bouncing in and out. The thing with I feel like maybe you guys can see, man. The thing with Brunson is that he downloads data on these guys. Like almost like if he plays you, he's gonna figure out in a couple of games. He did the same thing with Philly in the first 2 games. He did it again now with Daniels, right? Brunson was chirping. You know, Mikhail was bringing that heat to Trae Young. But yo, uh, campaign, that dude was on demon time. You guys keep replaying a clip right now where he said, "quote unquote," man, family show. You talking about family show? that's that's the kind of energy we're waiting for, man. But like to close it out, man. I think New York can beat this team. If you look, like we really missed Mitch, right? We were missing a bunch of rebounds. Ball is bouncing around. OG can't really collect like Mitch can. So we can beat this team. The problem is if we play against them in the playoffs, the NBA gonna stretch that to like 6 or 7 games, bro. Like they're gonna stretch that series. That's the only reason why I fear Atlanta a little bit. But like, yo, we ain't ducking no smoke, man. Anyway, Alex, Jeff, take care, bros.
That's the Knicks Fix. Appreciate you for calling in, my bro. Appreciate you for calling in. And he ain't wrong, man. You know how ESPN. If you get a Hawks Knicks series first round, stretching that thing, they'll make sure Scott Foster somehow officiates all 6 games, 7 if possible, man. Be like, yo, Scott, don't you have other things to worry about? He'd be like, no. I was specifically put on here. You probably get Tony Brothers. You'd be like, yo, can we please not get Tony Brothers or Scott Foster through this?
For the love of the game, I love what he said about the substitution patterns. Because one thing I noticed was that they had their defensive squad on in the beginning of the fourth, and they built up. They lost that lead and then built up that lead again. And then with like 8 minutes left, that's when he made the change. Tibbs made the change and brought Brunson in for the final 8. And when he did it, I said, "Oh, he's going for the home run. He's closing the door. Like he's putting it on Brunson and them to shut the door." And they did, man. And they outwilled them. Every time the Hawks beat the Knicks, you got Clint Capella out here talking like he's the kingpin of crime in the NBA, talking about we took their souls and all of that. And then you got dudes who just got benched talking crazy on your squad. Like, that's the type of bravado they got to have against these teams, because now they are the hunted. They're no longer the scrappy upstart. They are the team. They are a measuring stick. So every team that plays them, if they want to see if they're really about that, if they're really like that, you got to beat the Knicks. You got to beat the Knicks. They're 12 games under 500, over 500 now. OKC said it. That was another team. They're one of the top teams in the league, and we wanted to measure up against them. You're getting the best effort. The Knicks are the bowl game for all of these teams now. So they got to get up with that equal energy. And you need dudes like Campaign who don't give a FUCK, man. Like, you have to, bro. You have to. That's the type of energy that can negate any lethargy that you come out with. If you're not really up, if your team is uninspired, he comes in. He is reckless in the best ways possible. That 3-pointer on the break, on the 3-on-1 break, where I said that better go in. But if it goes in, that's high risk, high reward, because it amps up your fan base. It gets the garden rocking, and it gets your team believing, we can hit any shot. You need that. You need guys like Campaign. Josh Hart played like that too. You saw that play that he had. I don't know if you spoke about it, where he stole the ball from Daniels, pass it to Deuce. Deuce missed the shot. He missed the tip in. Capella gets the rebound, steals it again, and gets the layup. That's the type of Josh Harton. That's the type of, we don't give a F what y'all are bringing. We not losing this game. And we're bringing that energy. That's the type of energy they need off the bench. And that's a type that's in the entire team. So once again, if they keep that same energy, I think Knicks fans and that team will be satisfied with whatever result, because they can say they left it all on the court and there was no question that they put their all into however they're playing.
Those are all facts, man, because at the end of the day, like in those prior games, we could say, like, did they even put it all out on the court, right? Like in some of these matches are like, did they really give it 110%? Like, and when you start seeing games like this, it's like, okay, there's that level. But to add on to your point on needing a guy who brings that tenacious fire, right, off the bench, that was Dante last year. Josh Hart was part of that. Isaiah Hartenstein, before he got put into the starting rotation. Those are all those same guys with those same type of characteristics. You need guys who play, a little reckless, with their heart on their sleeve. You need some of those type of guys, whether or not they're the enforcer, that's a whole other thing. But they play with that type of energy that just galvanizes everybody, as you're talking about, because it's like even a dunk, right? Like, if you get out in transition, you get like an emphatic dunk. Sometimes what Obi will give, like, how do you not get energized from that, saying, all right, and then everybody, as you already noted, just gets brought up into it. And it's synergy at the end of the day, what we're talking about. And you want to make sure this team has a lot of synergy moving forward, because that's how guys stay connected. That's how guys start to believe in one another. And I think this is a point where, I think this is like where the difficulty in like building trust with like your teammates gets like lost, where the whole conversation about Tibbs is like, how come he doesn't trust these guys, right? Or like, if you let them play more, they can get more into a rhythm. Well, the trust doesn't also go to the coach. It goes down to the players too. Like, we've all played pickup basketball with a guy who's just chucking up shots, and you're like, I don't trust this guy. Now it feels like we're playing 4-on-5. And then you're just like, I just want to get off this court now. I don't want to play with this guy anymore, right? And so there's that fine line of balance. And so that can ruin synergy. That can ruin your trust. But what you're talking about is what amplifies the trust, what brings these guys together. And so we need those type of things in these type of moments from campaign tonight. As much as you could be like, he's going to be that guy regardless, bro, where he either puts up a shot, you're either scratching your head, or you're like, let's go. Like, let's effing go. Like, you want to, like, we all remember the Philly series last year. He was that guy that was knocking down shots. You're like, why is this guy doing that now?
Like, what are we doing
Now we
here?
have that guy, and we want him to do the same thing. Right?
Exactly.
That's all we want. That's all we want out of these matchups, man. And so moving forward, it's going to be, Knicks I keep saying this, you hope that these type of games are like a building block moving forward for this team, because it really just comes down to effort at the end of the day. And like, if this is not a team, nor any team should they ever be like, oh, we can just cruise and we'll be okay, we can just turn on the switch. It doesn't work like that. I know the Celtics are going through the things. They obviously won a championship. They have a different thing going on, but like, you should never be that type of team. It's like, we'll cruise, we'll turn on, because next thing you know, you didn't really practice. You didn't practice hard. The regular season is really just like practice.
Exactly.
Right? So like, you're telling me that you didn't practice hard enough. You didn't get ready for where it's really going to where it's going to matter most. And so you can't really be taking days off like that. I get that there could be exhausted from tired legs and stuff of that nature, and how do you utilize the bench to save their legs? But I just want to see this team, as you've been saying, Jeff, like, just go out there, give it 110%, man. It's also the New York way,
Exactly. And they have to understand that they haven't earned the right to coast. The Celtics can do whatever they want to do. They just won the championship. They got the gravitas and the history behind them. Their fans are expecting a certain standard, but they're also saying, well, we'll wait and see what happens in the playoffs. We'll bring up certain things here and there that y'all got to address, but we've seen you do it before. We've seen you do it recently. So we're good. The Knicks are not good like that. They're not, because you haven't won and you're a new team. So that's even more imperative for you to lock in every single game so that y'all know what your true limit is. And real talk, Alex, I don't know if I've seen this team's true limit. And that's a good thing. Because once Mitch gets back, then you'll be able to be more dynamic defensively and offensively. You'll have a lot more different types of looks that you can throw at opponents, and it can be truly situational. So if you have a 9-point lead on a team like the Hawks, you can bring in the Mitch, Cat, Deuce, Campaign, and OG or McCall or whoever you want at that 5, and you're basically playing like complimentary football on the defensive end, where you're planning to lock them up while giving yourself enough offense, where now we're getting into a track meet. Because honestly, that's what's going to have to be. I think this is what's going to have to be the Knicks' formula for success, where it's you play hard, you play with energy. Your offense got to be elite. You get to the fourth quarter with a lead, and then you're Tiger Woods with the red shirt. Be the best front runners you can be. Be the best front runners. Then now we're getting into a scoring contest, which you're probably not going to win. And then if you want to lock it down, you have the personnel to just play prevent and just lock down and then do enough offensively to eke out the win, or to just finish the job, close the door. That's where I think they can get more creative with it and show their versatility when we actually see what the final product is going to be for the stretch run. That's what I'm looking at right now. So whatever minor tweaks they make at the trade deadline, we evaluate it when we see it, but I don't think they should do anything rash. Be additive. Don't subtract anybody now, because you never know when you're going to need them.
So I was actually going to ask you that since you brought up changes. So you don't expect this team to make any changes by the trade deadline? Like,
I
no
don't think it's
trades?
going to be anything major. I'm sorry for cutting you off, brother. I don't
Oh,
think
you're
it's
good.
going to be anything major. They made their major trades. They made 2, guys. Like, give them a break. They made 2. They got Mikal. They got Cat. The cup is a little bare right now. You know, you're like 1 meal away from having to put that next order in the groceries. Like, yo, if we go a couple more days, we're not gonna be eating this food for at least a week, or we're gonna have to go actually physically go grocery shopping. That's how it's looking like right now with their assets. And I just look at their team and I'm saying, Mitch is gonna be back. Yes, I know there's a good camp portion of people, for whatever reason, rightfully so, that will say we cannot rely on Mitchell Robinson because of his injury history. To that, I'll remind, the only reason he's not playing this season is because he got put in the ankle lock. He
By
got
who?
Nancy Kerrigan in the playoffs. That's
By
really
who?
what it was.
No, by who?
Joel Embiid,
Thank you.
the man, the myth, the legend, the 30th player in the game.
We just got to say that bum's name. So I just want to
Oh
make sure
yeah,
his name goes out there.
Like somebody who should have legit been suspended for what happened, or there should have been some more punitive damage than what happened. It was whack when it went down. It was whack that he did it. He had no excuse, and now it's affecting somebody's long-term health, at least to play ball. I'm not gonna get too crazy, but I'm just saying long-term health on the court. It's affected him. That's taking money out of his pocket. That's putting his life in upheaval because now he got to hear about trade rumors because people think he's injury prone. When you would be injury prone too if you got injured by people. It's not on you, you know. Now, is there concerns with his foot because he broke his foot against Boston and all of that? I think you mitigate it with minutes. He don't got to play 35 minutes. He give you the solid 20 minutes off the bench and then you use him situationally. I think you're straight. So Mitch is going to be that late season addition, that mid-season addition. Maybe they make a move on the fringes. I think they definitely could use another wing. I don't think they need another big man. Just one more 6'7", 6'8" dude that can lock up and hit a 3 here and there that can spell your 3-wing rotation. I think that's something that could work. So yeah, I don't expect anything major, not reporting, not saying anything. I'm just saying I'm looking into the crystal ball and I don't see that. That don't mean it can't happen. But if they do something major, it should better work. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gotta work.
For sure. It's got to work. And I personally don't see them making a big move at the trade deadline. I think I see them being bigger candidates in the buyout market than anything else because I think salary-wise, they want to make sure that they're careful with that. And you could just, someone gets bought out, you don't got to pay their full contract. You could sign them to like, not legitimately $1, but something along those lines where it could be just cheap just to have them on your roster. You know what I mean?
Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
They got to play with that second apron. Like they got to mess around. They got to get into they TI-82s and carry the one and dot the I's and cross the T's and do all of that.
Playing Snake on it. Not playing Snake.
Right. They
actually do some mathematical calculations.
Gonna have to go into them spreadsheets and go to work because they right there up on the apron. So we'll see.
Yeah, and this is why also I think next year where the cap goes up a little bit more, you'll have a little bit more wiggle room. So I don't really see a lot happening to this team this offseason. So I think they're big buyout guys. But where do you stand in the whole Mitchell Robinson thing? Because I like you, as you already pointed out, some of the fan bases like, how can you rely on him? Like he's injury prone. But we already said like this is a Joel Embiid thing that has caused him to miss this time. Do you think? Because I feel like some people talk about Mitch as like the savior that once we get him, he will cure everything that's wrong with his team defensively. I don't see him as that, but I see him just helping like defensively.
Yeah. I think he's a help. I think he gives you another look off the bench where he would probably take some minutes from Precious and play that 5 spot and he'd back up Cat at the 5. Then you could play Cat at the 4. And the rest of the personnel is what you got to get right to be able to maximize the fact that Mitch can get into the dunker spot and put pressure on the rim, which is then you got to pick your poison. Do you want to give up this 2 or are you going to give up these 3s? And this is the type of pressure. This is the type of pressure that the Hawks be putting on folks. That's just because Trae Young is an elite passer. He's an elite rim pressurer where he can make those last-minute decisions and kill your team every single time. That's kind of what the Knicks should emulate with the Mitch-Cat duo if they do go to it at times. Like what they were doing with Gobert and Cat in Minnesota. they had varying levels of effectiveness. I mean, they went to the conference finals, so it's not like that dynamic can't work. I think it shouldn't be, depending on the situation, you're probably not going to close with that lineup. But yeah, I think it just gives them a more of an option depending on what the game is telling them to do. So I'm not looking at him. I don't think he's going to cure all the ails because teams were still putting up mad threes when Mitch was starting and when Mitch was backing up iHeart. They were still putting up threes. That's schematically what the Knicks do. That's just what they do. What I think Mitch does is makes teams think twice about driving into the paint. So now we know you're probably going to be passing around the perimeter. If you get through the first line of defense, Mitch got it. What you gonna do? And then you're winning still because they're taking a 2-point shot in that situation. Especially if you have the lead, they're not getting that extra point off of the 3-point shot. So I just think about it schematically, and I'm like, how can he fit? I think he can. If Mitch is Mitch, what are we talking about here? We'll worry about tomorrow, Alex. Today, give me that Mitchell Robinson. And then with today, we build a better tomorrow. And then when we talk about tomorrow, you'll say, well, why was I wilding yesterday? But what's going to happen tomorrow? What's going to happen the next day, right? The fact is you focus on the present. And in the present moment, I'd rather have present Mitch than worry about is future Mitch going to show up. Because we know when he's healthy, you saw what he did against the Cavs. You give me that guy and say that guy is showing up for the playoff run and he'll be healthy. What are we talking about, Alex? I'm not. Where's Cody Glock, man? Where's Cody Glock? I can't carry this flag by myself, brother. I don't know if you. I know you making a lot of money. That's why we haven't seen you or heard from you in a while. I don't know. I didn't even heard Cody Glock. I don't know if he's made his return, but I hope everything is well with you, brother. But I know you're waiting. He's waiting, just like Homeboy said. He's not tweeting until Josh Hart scores 30. I think Cody Glock is gonna return when Mitch returns. So I'm waiting, bro, because I'm not carrying this flag. I'm not advocating by myself. I need you to come through that first game and give the state of the Mitchie is not a snitchy hive address, bro. Like we need that. Because some of y'all talking crazy on that man name.
Like a phoenix coming from the burning coming out from the burning ashes. That's how Cody Glock's gonna
from the
rise.
ashes. Oh
yes,
man.
I was about ready to close the show up, but hey,
that's
look who it is.
Music.
Yo. Testing 1 2 1 2. Am I direct? Am I live?
You are live. I just made the reference that Cody Glock would rise from the ashes like a phoenix from the burning ashes, and then you decided to just pop on through. What's good, bro?
Shout out to the Glockster. Couple things. I mean, first and foremost, it took me forever to even crack the security of the Discord. The Discord got more security than TikTok. You know what I'm saying? So we got Jeff on. Then I had to free myself to get it accessible on my phone. But I'm here nevertheless, man. Nevertheless.
Yes, sir.
Well, welcome to the show. I'm glad that you could be here. Tell us how the game was.
Man, I mean, first off, I'm in my dad glory right now, man, because I took little man to his first game, and
that's amazing.
It's a memory that I pray that both you and Jeff get to experience as dads as well, man. It was just one of them days. Like I'm just glowing right now because number one, we got the win, but MSG took care of him, man. From dapping up the players on the entry, got to meet Clyde, and it was just one of them days, man. It was a beautiful day just to see him enjoying himself in his Knicks gear and getting a W.
Nice, man. What jersey was he? What was he wearing? A jersey? What's the Knicks gear that he was wearing today?
He was rocking. He's got a Brunson jersey.
Nice.
But he wore that out. He wore that one out. So that one we had to discard. So we got him a OG jersey. We got him a jersey for the dog. You know what I'm saying? We did get him a jersey to represent the dog. And hopefully we were hoping that the dog would get out of his slump. You know what I mean? He didn't really get out of it today. But it was kind of like we were trying to wish him good luck. You know what I mean?
There you go. Oh, he played some solid defense today. You can take that. Yeah. You can take that for what it's worth.
No question about it, man. I've been listening the whole time. I think both of you, man, just every time you guys are speaking, I couldn't agree more with everything you guys been saying. To start the game off, man, bro, we were down by 10 quickly. And I just said, yo, where is the energy? Where's the fight? Mikal Bridges, all these guys talking about, just coming out, playing better and holding themselves accountable after the Timberwolves lost. And the Hawks were just walking into everything that they wanted. The first play of the game, fellas, was miscommunication. You have Mikal and OG, I believe, on Trae Young, and Jalen Johnson wide open walks into a three-point play. And I said, nah, man, this is not how we're going to set the tone. And before you know it, we down by 10. And give credit to the second unit for giving us energy. But I really thought that Tibbs finally sent a message to the wing stop. Like, yo, you guys are coming out soft, man. And so it took Deuce, it took Shamit, it took Precious to set the tone. Deuce picking up Trey 90 feet. Shamit coming out. He's always coming out with good energy. Like, we're still waiting for his offense to follow up. But one thing about Shamit, he plays hard. He's played hard every single time.
Yeah.
And I really think Tibbs going 9 deep and going to these guys early in the first quarter was to send a message like, yo, man, like, your energy is just trash right now. And it really, bro, they were down 10 quick, fast, and in a hurry. Like, the Hawks had no resistance to start this game. And so I really think it was the second unit that had to set that tone. And after that, that's when Bridges started to get it popping. That's when, Brunson started his bag. And him and Dyson Daniels, I love that matchup. He took it personally. Just like you guys said, when Dyson Daniels picked up that 6th foul, you saw how demonstrative Brunson was. Like, I love that matchup. And Brunson ultimately winning that. But like half of the battle is just coming out with fight, man. And, the starting unit not really setting that tone. I'm glad that they finally picked it up. Third quarter, they jumped out to, I believe it was like a 7-0 run, led by Mikal Bridges and Jalen Brunson. And they kind of just went from there. So just fight, man. That's what I kept saying during this game, like fight. And that's what they did, man. I'm proud of the effort tonight.
Yeah, we've seen it. This team has a tendency just to roll over like dogs with like no resistance. But do you think this is like, I hope this is a building block moving forward, CP, that they could do that. Me and Jeff were talking about that. Do you think this is the building block moving forward? Because like they're gonna have the Celtics in about 2 weeks. Like I hope you remember what they did to them opening night, because that was an embarrassment.
Big time. We got to see what's up with the big man. I'm glad that he came back, even if he didn't have everything offensively. And let's be real, the officiating, especially when it comes to him, is an abomination.
Yep.
The one foul that he got called a tech on, that referee should legitimately be fined for not seeing that, especially the baseline referee. These guys were complaining to her every single time. He got raked, like legitimately raked across the arm, and then you're going to call a technical foul on him. That was ridiculous. He's not getting the benefit of the whistle, and a lot of times he should, but we also got to see how this thumb injury is going to impact him going forward. He was kind of rusty going into this thing, even though his passing was still up there. His reboundings, I took him lower on the Underdog. Underdog had him in like 14.5. I said that's way too high for him coming off the injury. So I had him lower and I got that. But we're going to have to see, man, going forward, how this thing impacts him and if he can still maintain that MVP caliber play. We're just not sure. We got to take it one game at a time.
Yeah, I think this is where this new training and development staff is going to earn their money. How do you mitigate this injury? How do you help him so that he's able to play through it? Like maybe it's like you get some new age technology, some extra padding, because he was out there with the tape on his thumb. At this point, he might have to play with like a soft cast or some type of like Winter Soldier type situation going on his hand, because the thing about him is he's such an offensive dynamo. And you tell me what you think, CP, like just from what you see him play. Like you got to break his hand for him not to be able to score. And I think it's just a matter of a pain tolerance thing, because certain passes, how it's like when you sprain a finger or a thumb, if it moves in a certain direction, you're going to feel that pain. But it looked like he was tolerating it a bit more. I think now it's just how can you protect the thumb while not disrupting his shooting motion? But at this point, I feel like however he shoot, it can go in.
Yeah. And like you said, like what type of, device could they use that won't, impact him or obstruct his ability to shoot? I'm not sure it can get any like thicker than just wrapping it up with some sort of tape. So again, how he maintains that going forward is going to be interesting to see. But to me, man, it's just got to start with the defense. It has to start with the defense. Their intensity and being connected with their opponent, and it like to start the game off. I was like, nah, we can't have this again. With watching these guys just waltzing through the paint and waltzing into open 3-pointers. So luckily they found their nuts and got it popping after the end of the first quarter and throughout the game, because I was like, yo, nah, this is not how this is going to go down, man. And these guys manned up, got the job done. You guys made the question, like, would we like to see this as a playoff series? I would love it, just because I buy this Hawks team. I like their wing depth. I like Daniels. Hunter off the bench, man. He did the same thing that he did in the play-in qualifier against these guys, and that was simply just scoring over smaller Nick bench players. And that was over Shamet. He was just shooting right over these guys, and he was in his bag. And so, it emphasizes the need for the Knicks to go out there and get one more wing. We need one more wing, whether that's Dadier stepping up and developing, or that's, is it Okeke, or is it somebody in the offseason? They need one more wing off the bench to match up. But nevertheless, I think this would be a very entertaining playoff battle between these guys. Full disclosure, my god brother is a coach on Quinn Snyder's staff, man. Shout out my god brother. He's Quinn Snyder's basically top assistant. So, I'm proud of him and doing his thing. But, that Hawks squad, man, they are well coached and they're doing a damn thing. I'm just thankful we got a win tonight.
Look at that. CP's got some insights on the Hawks team. So CP actually has another alternative motive for this, because CP knows that he can go down to Atlanta, go get some courtside seats, take little man with him, be like, I don't know. Oh, this would be a very good matchup. Yeah. CP goes through like list 1 through 10, number 11. Yeah, my got family who's in the coaching staff for the Hawks. So
Gotta mention it. That's a family, yo. You gotta mention it. You better be proud. Shoot, that's a great accomplishment. And we see what happened with like Johnny Bryant and other top assistant coaches. That's just one step away. But I feel CP on the wing thing, man. You sound like me at the Chinese food spot. Like I'm like, yo, I need one more wing. Like for what the price is right now, y'all gotta give me 5, because the price is going up. Y'all talking about eggs and milk. The Chinese food spot is the inflation is crazy over there, bro. It's wild.
Yo, Jeff, I'm gonna put you on off air, man. But there's a spot right by you that's doing buy one get ones on Uber Eats. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's my spot. The spot I've been going to for years, man.
You might need to send that to me, because I might know what you're talking about.
Yep.
So we might need to link up. But yeah, man, who do you think they could get? This is now we're getting into our bargain bag. Like, what, y'all become fathers, y'all become husbands, y'all get into a relationship, or even if you're a budget where you got to get the most bang for your buck right now. So that's why I'm hitting CP like, yo, what is the best value you think they could get relative to the wing that they could have? Without taking away from their current core?
And I mean, if it's not Dadier, I don't know if they can find a way to sign Okeke, once these vet minimums get more prorated in March. If that's an option, it's either that or it's correct. Wrong, Al. Is what's Sim's contract at? Is it like 2-3 million? So that's still like a very low. I'm not sure what they could. Not sure what they could do in terms of getting Sims out there, but clearly they're looking to trade him.
Someone in the chat said Sadiq Bey. Nah, Sadiq Bey is a little expensive.
Is he back yet?
I don't even think he's back yet. I think to your point, Jeff, I think he's still injured.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
It might be Dadier, bro.
Yeah, Sadiq is out. He tore his ACL, man. Sadiq is out for the season.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Yeah, because I know I haven't seen him all year. So, Yeah, man. Boy, listen, man. We got a back-to-back against Brooklyn. Let's go beat them tomorrow. Because the Nets fans, you guys on Twitter, man. The Nets fans, they're desperate to be in our midst and be in our conversations. They ain't got nothing else to do. They just want to be heard. They want to be around. So they want to talk down about this Mikal Bridges trade. Mikal Bridges need to go into Brooklyn tomorrow and drop like a 30-piece on it. That's what I need to see. That's what I need to see tomorrow.
That's a good underdog pick for tomorrow.
Yo,
Yeah,
did y'all see? Go ahead. My bad, CP. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Jeff. Go.
Did y'all see that video with the dude on the train that was saying what's a real New Yorker? And they were going back and forth with the Metro card where he was like, yo, you gotta be here, you gotta be born in New York. That's how I feel about Net fans. That's how I feel about Nets fans. They are transplants. They are not. That is not a real New York team. They transplanted from New Jersey. They live in Williamsburg. They are the worst part of gentrification that you could be as a sports franchise. That's what it is. They have single digit fans. They're raising kids in Brooklyn to root for a franchise that ain't gonna give them no happiness. This is New York. New York Knicks are a New York City 5-borough team. The Manhattan part of it is propaganda because I could be from Queens and live in Manhattan too. That doesn't mean that I only claim one borough. And that's what's happening with Brooklyn. And let's talk about how the Barclays Center's been aging. It ain't been aging well. It needs some night cream right now. It needs a lot of night cream. The food is but it needs a lot of night cream right now. And remember when they were going to take their city over? Remember when the Russians were taking over? What happened then? They were a few years too early. They might have been a few years too early. So don't even listen to them. They're bots. Their accounts on Twitter talk more about the Knicks than they do the Nets. Yeah. Because I guess
absolutely, bro, 1000%, bro.
Bro, I guess Knicks Claxton don't ring the bells of engagement. They can't get their 25 cents off unless they talking about Mikal Bridges. They are jilted lovers, bro. It's like, fam, move on. Move on. Get a hobby. Whatever, Nets.
Bro. My fault. I was drinking some water. But those guys are desperate, man. So let's definitely get a win. But yeah, man, good win today. Shout out to you guys for holding it down. You know, people always asking, yo, where's CP at? Where's CP at? Yo, listen, man. In my dedication to KFTV and the Knicks, I literally dedicate my life to this, to the point where, you know, the average person, they take off Saturdays and Sundays. They get weekends. I don't get that. I got to make that for myself. So every once in a while, I got to pull it back, touch grass, and live my life. You know what I'm saying? So today was one of them days, man. It was little man's day. And I just give God the glory that we was able to experience a win together. And also thank you to you guys, man. Like, Al, you've been holding down the fort for years. And Jeff, I appreciate you for joining forces, man, just because, like, you guys are two talented individuals and analysts that can help carry this thing forward, man. So I appreciate you guys for sure.
The Venmo's gonna hit your account soon, CP. Thank you. I appreciate that. The Venmo's gonna check in. The Venmo's gonna hit your account crazy right now. Thank you so much.
Oh, brother. We appreciate you too, CP, man. We appreciate you for creating a channel so that way we can come out here and, you know, connect with Knicks Nation and talk about the Knicks and have a platform where we don't got to listen to nonsense, talk about this team so that way we can actually do it the right way. And you don't got to apologize to nobody, okay? You can go do whatever you got to do, all right? That's what no one's got to talk down to you. You work. No one knows the amount of work that you put behind the scenes, okay? So nobody should be talking nonsense, all right? They really don't, okay? I know anybody who works on this team, so nobody can talk nonsense about that, all right? Once you've been able to put in sleepless nights for many years, then maybe you can start talking that nonsense. But regardless, bro, I'm happy that you got to take your son to go catch this first win against the Hawks, nonetheless, all right? Got to catch it against the Hawks, man, so that Trae Young could go home with his tail between his legs. I'm happy you got to experience that with your son, man. Such a great moment such a great father moment to have, so I'm happy for you for that, bro. Really happy about that.
Yes, sir. Stay up, fellas. We'll catch up tomorrow for post game, man.
You already know, man. All right, CP, we'll catch you later, bro.
All right, later.
And that's CP coming through as the closer. And on that note, Jeff, I think this is a good place to end out the show. And, you know, I'll just say one last thing. This is how I know Nets fans aren't real. You ready for this one? I was taking a subway back from the store to get to Grand Central, and I'm just listening to people. You know, sometimes you just listen to other conversations as like you're by yourself. You got your headphones in, and then, you know, song just went blank, and I heard this person talk about the Nets. So like, you know, we got this new basketball team moving into Brooklyn. They're gonna be called the Brooklyn Nets, and you know their best player they ever had in history is Deron Williams and Joe Johnson. I was like, all right, yo, I'm done. I was like, if you're gonna say those are the two best Nets players in history for that team, this is all gentrified. This is all fake. This is all nonsense. Get me out of here. quick, fast, and in a hurry, as CP would say. It was the complete biggest nonsense I've ever heard. They don't even know the history of the Nets. That's how
Bro.
bad it is.
Forget the fact that they forgot about Vince. Forget the fact that they forgot about J Kidd, Julius Irving. Anyone?
Anybody.
Anyone?
Anybody.
I don't know. And to be fair, they were a Long Island team before they moved to New Jersey, just like many New Yorkers. Eventually, you go over to New Jersey and you come back. But that whole campaign, I'm still pissed about that to this day. Like, they came in here gangbusters with KG and Paul Pierce. And J Kidd is the coach talking about it's our time now. And the city was supposed to be under new management. It is like the Van Wyck right now. It is still under construction in Brooklyn. It's still under construction. But hey, at least they went for it twice. At least they give their 10 fans something. And I know real Nets fans. So that's why I'm like, I wish there was more of them than what we were seeing now. You know, you see people who jumped off the ship from the Knicks to go to the Nets, and all of a sudden they like, yo, can we still get that deal with Rockefeller?
Nah.
Like, leave the back door open. Like, what's up?
You already showed your allegiance.
We gave y'all a year of amnesty. You had a year of amnesty to come back. Like, there was a form to fill out, but I don't know now. But yeah, man, it's fun. The rivalry joint is fun. The Barclays is gonna be rocking. Knicks fans is gonna be 90-10 in there. It's gonna be a situation now, and I hope they do get good eventually, because that just makes it better. I wish when they had one of them teams that they would have played the Knicks in the playoffs. That would have been cool. But both teams couldn't get right on the same schedule, and now we here.
Man. But yo, Jeff, appreciate you for coming through, my guy. Always love chopping it up with you, talking about Knicks. Let the people know where they can find you, man, because you got a lot of stuff going on outside of covering Knicks, man.
Jeff J Says on all social media. You could also find me Fridays, Knicks Film School, hosting Casual Friday, talking about the week in Knicks hoops and anything coming up, upcoming games, all of that. Catch me on TNT, Turner Networks, talking betting at times, hosting other stuff. So yeah, man, I'm just blessed to be able to do what I do, man. I love this. I love talking to Alex. I love being invited into the KFTV community, because I am a community member at heart. That's how I started off. I met CP 5 years ago now. Pre-pandemic, I met CP, and just when this show was bubbling up. And it is a testament to y'all. Every one of y'all that have watched, every one of y'all that have bought merch, every one of y'all who have supported with however y'all supported, a like, a share, hitting people. Shout out to my guy Rohan who watches this. He's not even on social media, but he seen me on and was like, yo, I'm glad that you on there. I love it. I didn't even know he was watching KnicksFanTV, and he was locked in. So that just shows the reach that this channel has had, because it's a real Knicks community. There's a lot of beautiful Knicks communities out there. So it's good to see when there's real ones like KnicksFanTV doing their thing. So, I'm blessed to be able to do it on multiple channels with y'all. My people's in Knicks Film School, y'all doing it on my own. Like, this is just living the dream. It's just living the dream. So I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all supporting me, giving me all the feedback that y'all give. I love it. And I love this team. So let's keep riding the wave and keep doing our thing. Get them likes up. Replay gang, like it up. Get in the comments. Talk to us, man. I respond. So holla at me.
Well said, bro. Well said. Salute to Knicks Nation once again. Salute to everybody for tuning in for another KFTV post game live. New York Knicks come out with the victory, 119-110. All right, you already know. We're walking on Trey. We're walking over Trae Young right now. That man's going home. That man's crying. That man's thinking about something else right now. I love it. I love every
dice hand is weak. That dice hand was weak tonight, boy.
Dice
he rolled
hand
that
is
1, 2, 3 crazy.
Yo, man, he gonna be doing nothing. Go back home and go cry. Go cry. Go do something else, bro. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, okay? If you can't catch these shows live, you know what you got to do? You got to make sure you subscribe to any audio listening platform that you use. Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, Alexa, Stitcher, you name it. We're on all audio listening platforms so you never have to miss us, okay? Also, make sure to support our newsletter, all right? You can go over to Beehive, KnicksFanTV, and go find it. KFTV, Jalen and the crew, they're doing a phenomenal job putting out a lot of content over there. They got Jalen's trade article that's up right now. You got Remy's recaps over there. Omar's doing a fantastic job. Jeff Campbell, not Jeff J, Jeff Campbell, also putting out the work, giving you a recap after every 10 games, the post check of the team. So make sure you go check that out as well. Go to the website, go check out all the merch. We got a lot of stuff coming. Make sure to always support, man. We appreciate all of you, and salute to Salute to the franchise channel members. Rare Edition, John Talento, Mr. Don's in here. Chuck D, as I always say, throw a hashtag P once again. Who else we got? We got the Shells. Shout out to you, man. We got LP in here. Shout out to all you guys. Appreciate all you for coming through. Wife of Oleo, shout out to you too. Rare Edition. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. You already know what we're going to do. We'll be back tomorrow for another KFTV post-game live. We're going to have CK2K doing another play-by-play. So make sure to tap in for that. We're always here, baby, covering the New York Knicks. All right, everyone.